These days, the world is at our fingertips with a click of a mouse. It seems like everyone is computer savvy, but the truth is not everyone is comfortable in this digital world. Is This Thing On is a straightforward guide introducing late bloomers, technophobes, and the digitally challenged like myself to the wonders of using a computer. Author Abby Stokes is here today to help us demystify digital cameras. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn.
Obviously, there was a need to write this book.
Yes, it actually started with my mom because I wanted her to get on the computer and I saw how she struggled, and so I wanted to sort of be able to hold somebody's hand the same way I held my mom's hand, and that's how the book happened.
And and I'm sure you've learned that there are many people like your mom.
Yes, actually, statistically, less than 50% of people over the age of 65 in the United States have even seen a website. So there's a huge population that have never gotten on the computer.
I'm surprised by that.
I know, I was too, but I taking into consideration the fear factor and the expense. But people should know local libraries have free computers, so there are ways to get to a computer without having to make that investment, which can seem intimidating if you're not even sure you're going to use the computer.
All right, let's talk about the digital camera.
Yes.
All right, how do you choose one, first of all?
I think the way to choose a digital camera is like any other technology if you're not savvy about it. Forget about what's happening inside the device. Instead, does it look cute? Does it fit my hand? Does it fit my price range?
Really? Does it look cute?
Does it look cute? For me, cute counts. I don't know if it counts for everybody else, but like, is the camera, is it something you want to carry around with you? Because that's what you're doing with a camera. So you take that into consideration. By and large, any digital camera right now will do what you and I need it to do. So you don't have to feel like you're afraid you're going to get a camera that's not going to service you. If you want something bigger and better and you want to play around with the lens and all of that, then you want to talk to somebody who's more camera savvy than you or I would.
So you want to keep it simple if you're not so savvy.
Simple, exactly.
You actually brought a digital camera.
I brought a digital camera, and this is actually on the older side of a digital camera. There are ones that are much sleeker and slimmer than this one, and there are ones that are much larger. If you want to have, you can actually have a camera that looks like the old-fashioned camera, but it's a digital camera. The difference with digital photography is you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm paying for every picture that I take, and I better make it good because I take terrible photographs, which is why I love this, because I can always go back, throw them away at no cost, or edit them when they come through the camera.
Well, let's talk about some of the features of a digital camera. What does this one have?
So this one has actually, what's nice about this particular camera is it has a flash that pops up. Most of them have a built-in flash, and it automatically comes on when you turn on the camera, and unless you know how to turn it off, in the back of the camera, you're going to flash your first picture even though you may not want to.
Okay, so take a look at where this is located.
Exactly, and when you deal with anything, it's even your clock radio, it's so intimidating. Think of it as a toy. And not,
it is a toy.
It's a toy. And what we want to do is look at the toy, read the manual, which is always a little bit painful, but look at the toy and just sort of logically, we see the word menu here.
Yes.
Menu's going to appear on the back of every camera you buy.
And it's a guide.
It's a guide. And it means that when you tap on the menu button, you're going to get your choices of how you can customize how the camera, do you want the date to appear or do you not want the date to appear? That's going to be in the menu.
So just tap on that button.
Yeah, and just take a look. You're going to have a little screen here on every camera where you're going to be able to look and see what your choices are. Nice and slow and easy, and just remember it's a toy.
Okay, what else do we need to look at before we take that first photo?
Before you take the first photo, one thing is these three letters, DPI, that people hear about.
No, that's techno lingo that I just don't understand.
It stands for dots per inch. And if you think of it this way, remember when newspapers were not printed as clearly as they're now?
Yes.
And you could actually see the dots in the letters? Those were dots per inch. So in an image, what you're interested in is how many dots are there in a small space, dots per inch, because the more dots, the denser the picture, which means you can blow it up larger. So when you're looking at your camera and you're setting it, you're going to say to yourself, and I know this sounds very jargony, it's actually the page in the book that gives you this number, but when you look at the back of the camera, you say, do I want it to be a picture I'm just sending on the internet, or do I want to print it to be an 8.5 by 11 picture because it's a family photograph? You're going to decide the dots per inch based on the size of the image that you ultimately want to produce.
Okay, let's get this clear. If you want to send it over the internet, what DPI
a lower number.
A lower number. Okay, remember
640 DPI. Don't have to remember. You can buy the book and get it in the
That's
book.
true. Okay.
640 DPI. The largest is 1600, and that's if you want to do an 8.5 by 11 or an 8 by 12 photograph. So you're going, and in between that, there's 1240. There's, there are numbers in between there, but those are sort of the low and the high range. When you're using the camera, the bigger the picture you're taking, the more memory it uses up in the camera, so the less photos you can take at one time. So if you know you're going to Alaska and you're going to take pictures for 3 weeks and you have no way of getting them off the camera, you're going to want to use less DPI so you can take more pictures at a time. If this is one-shot family photograph and you want it to be a big picture, you don't have to worry about that because you're going to take it off the camera right away.
All right, so now we're ready to take our first photo. So how do we do this?
Okay, so basically every camera is going to work the same way.
Okay.
There's going to be one button that you're going to press in order to take the picture, and usually now you press it halfway down and it lets you focus, and then you press it all the way down and it takes the photograph. Immediately on the screen here, you're going to see the image you took. So if it's not good, you get to take it again, which you never had that advantage before. You never knew till after you processed it and paid for it whether it was a lousy picture. In this case, you can press the button and you can say, oh, geez, I cut off Grandma's head. Then you're going to hold the camera up a little bit higher and take it. Not all cameras have this viewfinder. A lot of them you have to look at the picture here, which takes a little adjusting.
So if you didn't like the photo you shot, can you erase it right then and there?
You can erase it right away. You can erase it right away. And again, that goes back to looking at the menu and seeing where you throw away pictures as opposed to where you take pictures.
Okay.
But you could leave it on the camera until you've taken all of your photographs, and then you can take it from the camera onto your computer and look at it there and delete it there. So either way, you can delete it.
Anything else we need to know as we're taking this photo?
Nope. Pretty simply, you just want to make sure every camera has something inside like this.
A memory card.
Which is a memory card. You want to make sure that's inside your camera before you take the picture, and you want to make sure batteries are inside your camera. This memory card, if you're taking it out and you happen to touch this little bit back here, your fingers can get it mucky. A rubber band cleans off that little metal bit so it works. Never take this out while the camera's on. There is a possibility that you'll erase what's on the memory card unless the camera's turned off when you take this out. So the only two things you need, a memory card in here, and you need batteries in here. So you want to make sure to always pack a spare pair of batteries with your camera case in case your batteries run out while you're taking your photographs.
All right, now you've already shot all the photos you need. What's the next step?
Okay, when you bought the camera, it probably came with some kind of software. Not all of them do. You want to install this on your computer. And I know just by saying the word install, you glazed over a little bit. It's scary. Really?
It is scary.
You open up that little drawer that pops out that looks like it holds a coffee cup.
Put it right in there.
You put this in label side up and you close it, and what will happen is a window will open up on the screen and you just follow the steps. Usually it's by clicking on the word next. So now what you've done by installing the software is your computer and your camera can talk to each other. So comes the cable. Now the cable, only one end plugs into your computer and only one end plugs into your camera. It's actually this way. This is the camera part, the computer part. So you plug this in with the camera off. Your camera and your computer already know how to talk to each other, so then you turn on the camera. When you do that, a window will open up for you, and poof, your pictures are going to move from the camera to the computer without you doing anything. That's the point of the software, the intelligence that you put into the computer.
And then to print, really quickly, how do you print the photos?
Usually it's by clicking on the word file and finding the word print, or there just might be the word print there. It's very, believe it or not, it's actually straightforward from that point forward. It's much easier than you think at that point.
And you have some examples of what we can do with some of our photos.
Well, once you get the pictures on the computer, then you can send them to a website where you can have things like, this is a family calendar that we made. We also made a cute little book. And it's very easy. I went through Kodak, but there are several different photo...
Oh, look at this.
Isn't that
This
sweet?
is fabulous.
And it was easy and it wasn't expensive.
And the quality is great.
The quality is really good, and you can make this and give it as gifts, and I think they were $10 a book. It wasn't very expensive. And it wasn't hard to do, and it makes you... I think it's empowering. It's a little bit like doing a scrapbook with your hands, but instead you're doing it on the computer.
Absolutely. Now, we want to tell you about something that what you can do with those photos that you've just shot with your digital camera. Whether it's your child, your pet, your mother, or your friend, everybody has a star in their life. Here's what we invite you to do. Go to mytv9star.com and upload your picture for a chance to win a $250 gift certificate from Milford Photo A Photo of the Day. It is posted daily on MyTV9 Star's Facebook page. The contest runs through September 7th, and the winning photo will be showcased right here on Connecticut Style. For more information on Abby's new book, log on to the Connecticut Style website. The name of Abby's book again is This Thing On? Abby, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.